Howdy folks, this is Shane. Welcome to Guitar Search Saturday, episode 18. As you can see by the skyline and the grey, bleak summer weather, we are still in San Francisco. San Fran's full of really great music shops, and this one is no exception. Today we're heading to Haight Ashbury Music Center, which is one of my favorite shops in San Francisco. In terms of retail stores that stock new stuff, Haight Ashbury Music Center has to be one of my favorites. It's where I also picked up my 1952 reissue Fender Telecaster quite some time ago. You see that in just about all of my videos. A massive thanks to all the guys at Haight Ashbury Music Center for allowing me to film in here. They gave me full permission to walk around with my high quality camera, so we're in for a bit of a treat. Let's go in and take a look. Haight Ashbury Music Center stocks hundreds and hundreds of pedals. We have some bog standard Boss pedals down the bottom, but we also have some Vox pedals up the top. I have a feeling the design of these kind of hindered their sales performance, at least here in Australia. These were everywhere when they first came out, but they disappeared quickly. Hey, here we go, the whammy pedal. We have 3 of them. These are made by Digitech. I've mentioned this on a previous Guitar Search Saturday. I'm not exactly sure what these particular pedals do for music. Gearman Dude's demo of these is awesome, so I urge you to go check it out. For a somewhat simple blues player like myself, these particular pedals just go way over my head. Above them we have some awesome pedals from Tech 21. These are the amp simulation pedals. These will allow you to plug directly from the pedal straight into a PA system or recording console and get really great tones. It's without question that Haight Ashbury Music Center has the most EHX pedals or Electro-Harmonix pedals that I've ever seen in one shop. Their collection is absolutely epic. If you like EHX stuff, you're definitely going to dig it here. Here's something you don't see every day, at least in the music stores that I've been into recently, are BMF effects. BMF effects come out of Hermosa Beach in California, and they're hand-built effects. I'm a huge fan of pedals that keep things simple, both in terms of visuals and in terms of functionality, and in my opinion the BMF pedals get that right. Hey, check this out, we got 3 of my favorite Wampler pedals all in one cabinet. We have the Wampler Tape Echo version 2. I actually have that on my pedal board right now. On its right, we have the Wampler Paisley Drive Overdrive pedal. This particular thing is to emulate that of Brad Paisley's amp, which is a Dr. Z Vox sounding amplifier. And behind it we have the Wampler Tumnus, which is a clon sounding pedal with a little bit more bass. It's pretty wild. As I mentioned, this shop has everything when it comes to pedals. I've always wanted to check out the Catlin Bread stuff. I may actually email these guys now and see if they're interested in some videos. From all reports that I've heard about these particular pedals and the demos that I've seen, they look and sound pretty impressive. There it is, the Mesa Boogie Cab Clone. This is one of those things that, well, if you don't know about it, just look it up on YouTube. Haight Ashbury Music Center stocks a whole lot of really great amplifiers, and it's cool to see a shop stock not only a whole lot of Fender amps for guys like me, but also other stuff like Blackstar and Mesa Boogie, as well as Orange. That said though, I'm yet to hear a Blackstar amp that truly blows me away. They sound okay on their own, but in the mix they sound a little bit too scooped. If you do know of a Blackstar amp that's definitely worth checking out, please let me know in the comments. On the left of the Black Star, we have the twin reverb amp. This is one of the most iconic amps from Fender. It's a 65 reissue and they weigh an absolute ton. Hey, this actually looks pretty cool. This is a Fender bass breaker in a regular lacquer tweed color. Usually the tweed on these is a darker color, which still look pretty good, but they kind of suffer reliability issues. I wonder if any of that's been addressed on these editions. Every time I see these amps now in shops, I just laugh. If you haven't seen my demo of the Mustang GT200, I'll post a link up in the cards. If you're looking for a small home practice amp, definitely check out your other options before getting a Fender Mustang GT. Unless you're looking for something small and light and you're not too concerned about how it sounds, then this is a good option. One thing I wasn't 100% sure of, which I should have asked, is whether or not this particular shop does trade-ins. There didn't seem to be that many used amps on the floor, but this particular one is definitely used. It's a 1980s Fender Champ 12 amp. These amps actually aren't too bad if you're looking for something small. Like most Fender amps though, and this one is no exception, you should stick to the clean tones. You'll definitely enjoy it more than the overdrive sound. When I first turned this corner to check out the bass guitars, I was totally blown away by the Ibanez sound gear right in the center. Check out that marble-like finish. It almost looks like a honey marble, you know, like an actual honey jar. It's kind of cool. The jazz bass to its right is actually a Squier. It's amazing to see what kind of quality these guys are putting out these days. If I hadn't have seen the headstock, I would have for sure thought it was a Fender.
Okay, all right.
But yes, everything came back, so that'll give you receipts.
Thank you.
Please remain calm. We have our first official lefty sighting. The really great thing about Haight Ashbury Music Centre is the fact they actually do stock some lefties, not only in basses, but also in guitars. Believe it or not, this particular bass, and check out its shape by the way, is actually made by Ibanez. It's a PJ bass, much like some of the Squiers and some of the Fenders, but check it out, it's an Ibanez. Cool. Another really cool thing to mention is Haight Ashbury Music Centre seems to have more basses and guitars than the local San Francisco Guitar Center does. It could just be me, but I'm pretty sure they do. This particular shop really takes advantage of the space and it just has wall-to-wall basses and electric guitars. Check it out. Check it out, we have a Fender Special Edition Noir Telecaster electric guitar. It also features a black headstock, and check out the pickguard. It's black with a little bit of red around it. It looks pretty wild. These are actually made in Mexico, and I think these look really, really cool. There's also maybe 50 other Telecasters in the shop, so if you love your Teles, you'll definitely get a kick out of this. I don't know what it is about this shoreline gold color, but I'm totally digging it. Let me know your thoughts on this color in the comments.
Let's give this guy a lifty.
Out of all the traveling I've done over the years, I can say with some certainty that 95% of shops, give or take, will stock one of two electric guitars in a lefty. One of those two guitars is always a left-handed Mexican Strat in black, and here it is. Nothing wrong with them though, they're great guitars. I actually own a white Mexican Strat and I love it. I think it sounds awesome. Damn, that's one sexy looking Princeton. I actually had a good play through one of these and it sounded wild. If the Princeton was re-released with a 12-inch speaker, odds are I would buy one in a heartbeat. Here's a Fender amp I know absolutely nothing about, and I've never seen one of these anywhere in Australia. It's the Fender Bullet 150. I take it this is a 15-watt amp, and it probably has something like an 8-inch speaker. It looks like it has a headphone jack as well as an auxiliary input as well, so it might be a really cool, fun practice amp for home. Here's three totally underrated pedals: the Boss SD1, the BD2, and the DM2 delay. Recently, a friend of mine picked up the delay pedal, and this was a Craft One. Sounds absolutely beautiful. The great thing about the Boss delays is they're dead quiet. There's no hiss or crackle or anything coming out of the speaker once you turn them on. This particular Stratocaster was one of the best that I've ever played in my life. I actually came back to the shop to play it twice. I was so close to pulling the trigger on it, but it was only one thing about it that I didn't like, which maybe wasn't that big of a deal. This is a 1957 reissued Stratocaster from Fender. It had a beautiful fat neck, a flame maple neck as well, which looked spectacular. It had no hum cancelling positions on the guitar. It was literally like it was in the olden days. One thing about that though is it had small frets. That's a bit of a deal breaker for me because I do wear through frets pretty quickly. Like I did with my 52 reissue Tele, I wore through them in no time at all. If you're a lefty and you dig those small frets, definitely give this guitar a look. Like I said, it's one of the best guitars I've ever played in my life. As I mentioned earlier, they crammed so many guitars into the shop, and the Stratocaster range as well is just massive. Check out this painted design by David Lozier. This Strat is like no other. I really dig the actual finish on the guitar as well. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of the actual artistic design on the bottom with the heart and all that kind of stuff, but the body itself looks wild. Man, Epiphone are just making some really great looking and sounding guitars. Check out these SGs. I'm totally digging the red one. I really dig the matte finish on the wood. I think the paint job looks awesome. And speaking of Epiphone, there's so many Epis at this particular shop. Definitely check this out. Check out this Gibson White Flying V. I don't think I've ever seen a white one in person before up until now. So yeah, they've got a great selection of stuff. Here's another great example of a beautiful looking Epiphone. This particular one is a Firebird and it's loaded with one mini humbucker in the bridge, and notice there's no Tune-o-matic bridge either. It's just one tailpiece. To the left of the Firebird, we have a Black Beauty style Epiphone Les Paul loaded with 3 pickups. It's got gold hardware too, check it out. I think it's time I stop the heavy metal music in the background while we talk about this BB King Lucille from Epiphone. The first time I saw this particular guitar in person was back sometime around 2001 while I was in Michigan. And come to think of it, I don't know if I've seen one since. These are really hard to find. I've definitely seen a number of these Lucille guitars in Gibsons over the years, even though they haven't been made for quite some time. I still see them around. But an Epiphone, it's pretty rare. If anyone out there comes across a left-handed Epiphone Casino, I don't care where it's made or where it's located, please let me know. There's so many wonderful guitars in this particular shop, including Godin and Ibanez and LTD and a whole lot of others. I'm just going to shut up for a moment and let you check them out. I thought I should make mention of Godin electric guitars, or as the Americans call it, Godin, even though there's no A in there. I hear them say it all the time. I'm just picking on you guys. I mispronounce words like nobody's business. But these are actually made in Canada. I have a lot of Canadian subscribers to the channel as well, and these are really great guitars. If you're into Fender-ish style electric guitars, definitely give them a shot. They also do a whole different range. As you could see earlier with that blue guitar, they're really quite beautiful. Like I mentioned at the start of the video, this particular shop has loads of different guitars, including a great range of Mesa Boogie amplifiers. I'm more familiar with some of the older Boogies than some of the new stuff, but I definitely like to give these a go at some point and see what they're all about. I almost didn't notice this top shelf of Gretsch guitars and Gibsons. The standout guitar for me would have to be that SG right there in the middle. I think that looks absolutely beautiful. Down the back of the shop we have an acoustic selection unlike many others you'll see. There has to be a couple of hundred acoustic guitars, not only on the floor and on the walls, but also in its dedicated room. Down the back of the shop, we also have a selection of used instruments as well. I didn't notice this until I headed down the back. I would love someone to do a shootout between this Line 6 and one of the new Fender Mustang GTs and see which one actually sounds better. The acoustic room is filled with many great guitars, including stuff from Seagull, Martin, Ibanez, Gretsch, Takamine, Yamaha, and many, many others. And that wraps up another Guitar Search Saturday. A huge thanks to Haight Ashbury Music Centre for allowing me to film in here. I absolutely appreciate it. This is a really great store. If you're in San Francisco, either just visiting or if you live there and you haven't checked out this particular shop, definitely go check it out. It always amazes me how many guitars there are when you walk in. It looks very unassuming from the front. As you can see, there's instruments covering every square inch of the wall as well as the floors, so if you go in, you'll definitely be in for a treat. If you want to check out their website, I'll also post all links on screen and in the description below. Thanks again to everyone who supports the channel on YouTube. I really appreciate it. The In the Blues community has just ticked over 70,000 subs, so if you do like this series, please share it with your guitar friends, tag them on Facebook, and just point them towards this series of videos. Any help spreading the word is always appreciated, and a massive thanks again goes out to all the Patreon subscribers. Thanks again for watching. Catch you soon.